this is the latest exciting offering from McLaren, the 600LT. LT, Longtail. From the minute you look up front, it is so menacing. It's got that aggressive front spoiler there. It's in carbon fiber. Then we've got 19-inch rims. They look remarkable. Carbon fiber side skirts, carbon fiber mirrors, 20-inch rims at the rear with carbon ceramic brakes all over. Then, when we get to the LT part of the car, the Longtail, this section at the rear sits 47 millimeters longer than the 570S, which is what this car is based upon, the base model 570S. But they've pumped in more horsepower, meaning 30 horsepower more. So 592 brake horsepower, 620 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in only 2.9 seconds. And now the car weighs about 100 kilograms less. But that's only with the lightweight options ticked. So meaning no stereo, no suspension lift, and no aircon. But fortunately for us, this car has all three. So it's got the aircon, it's got everything you want. So give or take, it weighs about 50, 60 kilograms less than the 570S. But it's more menacing, it's quicker, sounds better, it's got amazing exhaust that spit out fire. But before we jump to that, let's check out the interior, and I can point out a few features that we've noticed that make this car so unique, so special, and so bare bone. Here we are, the interior. As you know, these seats are quite familiar. You probably would have seen them in the 675LT, and that is correct. Optional seats for the 720S. Here they are in completely carbon fiber. So amazing bucket seats to sit into. These are the standard sizes, so they're kind of slim for my buttocks. But if you're a bigger guy like me, you probably need the touring option. So they're a wider seat. Same seat, but slightly wider. Or you could get the McLaren Senna seats for an extra $13,000, and they're cool, but they're not forgiving. Okay, so now we've got so much carbon fiber. There's carbon fiber on the ground. There's also carbon fiber on the steering wheel, Alcantara everywhere, as you can see. Carbon fiber on the center console, all the buttons, everything is just basically bare bone. Full stop. Think of a Ferrari Stradale, Ferrari Scuderia, the 488 Pista. This is kind of similar. It's in that category of GT2 RS, bare bone, race cars, heaps of carbon fiber, heaps of Alcantara, and just a lot of pain in your lower back. Here we are with the displays. First up is a digital cluster. This one is fixed, unlike the 720S, which flips up and down in different modes. Now over to the center console. We've got something that what looks to be an iPad screen. Click on it and it opens up. We have phone, media, radio, nav, apps and voice. Simple, nothing else. Then when you press this button, it opens up your aircon controls, which are all digital. Move over down to the center. We've got start, engine and stop button. Starts the car up. Then we've got the active dynamics button, so you press that button, then you've got full control over normal, sport and track modes for your suspension and for your engine and gearbox work. Tightens up all your gear shifts, the suspension stiffens up, it becomes uncomfortable. Then we've got a launch control button as well. Everything gets controlled right here in this center console. So you've got drive, neutral, reverse and your hazard lights. Simple as that. That is it. Alright, it's time to start this thing up.
Oh, one sec.
What?
McLaren have actually advised us not to rev this car too hard while stationary.
Why?
Because it spits out flames.
Flames?
Yeah,
And
there's no wind to blow them away when it's stationary.
So then what happens?
Well, the car could potentially catch on fire.
Fire?
Yeah.
We like fire!
Yeah, but maybe not. Maybe we'll catch the flames while we're in motion.
Yeah, alright, let's do that. Okay. It's fast. 2.9 seconds, 0 to 100. There's no point for us to test that out. We trust you, McLaren. But from initial performance specifications, from jumping into this driver's seat, it is so snug, so fit. And I can tell you something really, really good about this car. Believe me, it sounds good for a McLaren. First time I say this, for a McLaren, it sounds sensational. And look at its presence on the road. It looks fabulous. Everybody loves this car. They retail for $525,000 with a few options on them. Stock standard $478,000, but you really do have to get all the options that you could on this car, because stock standard, it doesn't come with much. Now, when you look at it, you think to yourself, this just is something very special. It is, you can see it. It looks crazy. And it performs mental. Okay, it makes you smile for days. Believe me, you'll smile for a long time. It is the first most exciting McLaren that I've driven in a long time. Believe me, the 675LT was the last one. 720S was pretty good, very fast, but more tame. But I love these race finishes, the bare Alcantara cars. Like, everything's carbon fiber. What more could you want? There's a special, unique smell to an interior of a car like this. It's just remarkable. It's really a gorgeous car as well. You can't say that it isn't. It's everything about it, from the way it feels, from the way you sit in the seat, the steering wheel, ergonomically so correct, so perfect. I am not off center to my left or to the right. It's all just straight. And this cockpit is fabulous. I like it. It looks amazing. There's enough room for two people, comfortable. You're not shrugging shoulders there. It is absolutely amazing right now. Okay, so let's get back to the sound. We've got two tailpipes that stick out from the bonnet. Everybody knows they spit out flames, but they look so cool. You've got that spoiler there sitting. It's like, wow, the whole aerodynamics about this car is remarkable. It just looks really, really good. Let me tell you one thing about the suspension. Once it's in track mode on the streets, it's unforgiving. Really, you feel every road bump possible. It is just crazy the way you can feel the road bumps. In normal driving mode, N mode, and sports, it's a lot easier to drive. It's a lot more comfortable. You don't feel the bumps as much. That's how you'd want it around the streets. But if you're a full track enthusiast, you want it in track mode no matter where you are, because everything is all about race in this car, right? It's a McLaren 600LT. So 592 brake horsepower, 600 PS, 620 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in 2.9 seconds, and quarter mile speeds in the high 10s. Now that's quick. V8 twin turbo, and that's what you want. It's that powerful motor. And one thing that I can tell you is that the internals on this engine is exactly the same as the 570S, but they've tuned it up with 30 horsepower more by tweaking the exhaust and tweaking the ECU unit. So they've tuned it up a little bit, but the turbos aren't as pronounced as driving a, say, 650S or a 675LT or even the 720S. So you don't really hear so much turbo sound, but you still hear it. In terms of seating position, the comfort levels of this car, it is pretty much exactly the same as every other McLaren. Everything's just right. They've managed to build cars that are just so smooth. They drive fine, and the comfort levels is beyond anything. The only thing that stands in your way is a side sill that's here between you and the outside world. So that you've got to step over. To jump into the car, jump out is a little more difficult than, say, a Ferrari, but you make up for it because it just feels so different to every other vehicle out there. It's got something more unique about it. That's what I really like. McLaren 600LT sits 8mm lower than the 570S, and the rims, they're wrapped with Pirelli P0 Trofeo R tyres. They're pretty much like a semi-slick tyre, perfect for the track. The front suspension is 50% stiffer, the rear is 25% stiffer. So all the dynamics around the suspension has completely changed. They've really tuned it to be a race car, meaning you can take this car to track. Basically, you drive yourself, like how we're driving right now, drive yourself straight to the track. Go for an awesome track day, do a few laps, spend the whole day there, and drive yourself back home. You don't have to put it on the back of the truck. Quite simple, quite easy, and so much fun. And with the exhaust, I can assure you it sounds about 20% louder than a normal 570S and sounds better. Somehow, it's got a nice unique whistle up high. It's got that high pitched scream. So it changes its tone slightly. I really like it. And the handling, oh god, this handling here is remarkable. I love the feel behind the steering wheel. There really isn't much road feedback from the bumps and stuff, but it's electronic steering. That's why you don't have that. It's not so mechanical. But, oh boy, I can tell you, the car handles, takes corners amazingly well. And one other aspect about this car that's kind of different is that the brakes, for the first 10 millimeters that you press those brakes, it's like there's nothing there. Then all of a sudden you touch it a bit more and it just stops. It just, look at this. It just stops. It's really, really good. Those carbon ceramic discs, unbelievable. The overall package, being that track-tuned car, is just spot on. McLaren have gotten it spot on. Some would say that this could be like a baby Senna, but it's hard to, you can't really compare this against a $2 million Senna, but it gives you the thrill. And a lot of people say the feedback from this car is a lot more rewarding. So there's a lot more to it, which is really, really cool, because you get so much package in $478,000. You've got so much car. There's not many other sports cars in this market that can actually give you so much thrill, so much excitement, so much laughter, so many smiles for this price. It's still expensive, but it's a really fun little machine. We're going to end this episode quite differently. We're going to jump over to our night scene just to see if we can catch all the flames that the exhaust system spits out. Alright, you guys can't believe this.